Welcome to Inclusive Academia and our deep dive into the Pathfinders Program at the University of Tulsa with the director, Holden Trainer. Can you please tell us a bit more about yourself and your role at the University of Tulsa?
My name is Holden Trainer. My pronouns are they, them. I work as a coordinator of accommodations, Pathfinders, and student success here at the University of Tulsa. I am a former special educator. I worked in the special education in public ed for 7 years and taught for 5 years, I taught life skills, which is a program for students with intellectual disabilities, cognitive disabilities, learning disabilities, physical disabilities, those who are neurodivergent. It's a melting pot, you could say, of students, and taught that at the high school level. And then I moved into a role at a middle school and worked in the behavioral disorders classroom. So I had a mixture of students with dual diagnoses. So they had something, they could have like bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, and then maybe mood disorders. And then they would also typically have autism. And I supported them by making behavioral intervention plans and providing instruction on social skills and time management, and basically anything that's executive functioning. And then I decided after a couple of years of doing that I wanted to move into higher ed. Something that I was really passionate about whenever I was teaching life skills at the high school level was getting my students who had disabilities into post-secondary programs where they started to have the ability to gain job skills and actually get a job post high school and post that program. So that is kind of where my passion is. It's for students with disabilities and creating opportunities for them, and also fostering skills in them to do well and become as independent as possible after their high school years.
Could you please provide us a high-level overview of the University of Tulsa and of the Pathfinders Program?
So moving into the Pathfinders Program was one of the best things that I feel like I've ever done. This program is pretty unique compared to other programs across the country. We are one of the only free programs for neurodiverse students in the country, and we don't have an interview process or anything like that. It's just if you identify as neurodiverse, or you have something like social anxiety, or any really type of disability, or you're just an ally, like we're just a safe space for people to come and be themselves and get support for college. And then the University of Tulsa, I mean, I'm biased because I work here, but I do feel like we have a really good accessibility department that helps our students who are in Pathfinders, but also outside of Pathfinders, get accommodations, and we advocate for students in the classroom, and we support them in whatever ways that we can.
Could you please tell us a little bit more about the University of Tulsa and the surrounding community?
At the University of Tulsa, it is a smaller school. I think we have about 4,000 students at the most, and we serve about 1,000 of those in our accessibility department. The school is a great community. There we have student success coaches who double as an academic advisor, but also like a life coach, and they offer weekly meetings for students, and they can help with different independent living skills, executive functioning skills, study skills, time management. They also offer classes throughout the semester on all of the things listed. So there's a time management course. There's a course called How to Eat an Elephant, basically how to take everything on your plate and chunk it down so that you're able to actually do it successfully.
The university has also built an information system to proactively identify students who may be struggling. Can you please tell us a bit more about that?
Success coaches also have a system, and we have this as well in accessibility, that's called Starfish, and the professors have access to it, the RAs have access to it, and then all of us have access to it. And it is a way for us to track student success. And so these flags come in from possibly accessibility if we find out about a hardship going on. They can come in from faculty if, like, say a student is struggling in a course or failed their midterm or isn't turning in assignments or isn't showing up. A success coach can put in a flag if they notice that the student is being like non-responsive to emails and things like that. And we're able to take those and find out the best way to support students. And I think that's one of the best things that we have on this campus, because it's really a holistic way of taking care of them. We take those flags, we reach out, we get connected, we set up weekly meetings, or we give them the resource that they need if they are struggling with mental health.
Please dive a bit deeper into mental health and counseling services provided by TU.
We have what is called CAPS on campus. It's the Center of Psychological Services, Counseling and Psychological Services. And so they offer free therapy sessions, typically up to about 6. And sometimes they do long-term, but they also have a resource that is a virtual resource. It hasn't launched yet, so I can't say the name of it, but there is a virtual resource coming so that students can have 24/7 access to mental health resources. So those are some of the top things that the university offers.
Could you please tell us a bit more about the campus community and some of the activities and social events?
It's very community-based, and a lot of the events that we do here are geared towards not just the students, but the community around us. Plus, we always have sporting events going on. We have concerts that happen. The football games, we have tailgating where it involves the community coming together, and there's always things for the students to do, for their families to do, little kids, all of that.
Your administration seems very supportive of student well-being. Can you please speak a bit more about that?
Something else that I think is different about this university is the president of the university actually gives his phone number out to all students so that they can reach out if they're having any difficulties on campus and they don't know who else to go to. They can text him, and he is very responsive. So I think that is something that is very cool about the small community that this school is. And also the class sizes are not as large. And so I feel like the faculty has a better opportunity to have better rapport with their students. And that can go a long way in the academic realm. So those are some of the top things I would say to like anyone who's interested in the University of Tulsa. Those are some of the best things that we offer here.
What academic majors are offered at the University of Tulsa?
So the programs that we have here, there are, we have, I feel like a lot of people studying mechanical engineering, but we also have finance, computer science, business administration. I know we have computer simulation and gaming. We have cybersecurity, psychology, accounting. I think there is an athletic trainer program, just a creative writing program. There's a plethora of different programs, and it's actually super easy to just utilize the website. They give all of the majors that are possible, and then they lay out the course load that you will have with that major. So it's a really great way to go in and figure out if it's actually the major that you want to do, because you can look at which classes you'd be taking, which I always found helpful whenever I was looking into different programs. So that is, and then each success coach here has a different major assigned to them. So they become experts on that major and that field.
What housing options are available to TU students?
Yeah, so the housing here at University of Tulsa, there are dorms on campus as well as apartments. And one of our accommodations is if you need a single room, that is an accommodation that you can get through the accessibility department, which is actually a really popular accommodation for a lot of our neurodiverse students. If you do live on campus, your freshman and sophomore year, there is a meal plan requirement so that they know that the kids are getting fed. And we have a ton of options on campus. For such a small campus, we have a Subway, there's a Mexican restaurant, there is Mr. Beast Burgers, we have Chick-fil-A, and then we have a Starbucks. It's the largest Starbucks on a college campus in Oklahoma. And then we have the Pat Case Dining Center, which is a place that is all you can eat, and it's a buffet style, and they always have 3 different options for meals plus pizza and not in a vegetarian option. There's also accommodations that you can get for a meal plan exemption, say if you are gluten intolerant, lactose free, anything like that. There are ways to get accommodated to make sure that you're not having to eat something that you are intolerant to or allergic to.
How do students join up with the Pathfinders program?
Yeah. So the Pathfinders program, as I mentioned before, is a program it's geared toward neurodiverse students. However, we do allow whoever feels like it's a space that they need to be in, they are allowed in the program. We have a space on campus where the students can come Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. They can come in. We have free snacks, drinks, coffee. We have art supplies. We have a Nintendo Switch. We have a couch, a futon. We have tables and chairs set up so they can come in and study, but it's also just kind of like a lounge for them to come, and they can unmask and they can just be there and be themselves and build the community together. We also have graduate assistants that work for us in the Pathfinders program who can kind of act as mentors towards our neurodiverse students. There's also weekly events that we have, and typically they're themed. So in September, we had, because it was the beginning of the semester, we had a success coach come on to one of our events on a Friday evening and gave a time management course. We also had someone come and give a financial literacy course. We had someone come from Kane Careers, which is something I forgot to mention at the university that we have. That's one of our best resources. Kane Careers is a program that helps our students on campus get jobs and internships. They also help with interview skills, job skills, resume writing. Every student has a career coach, which is great. And so the career coach came down and taught the Pathfinders about kind of what they need to be working on in order to get jobs, because not only is the graduation rate low for those who are neurodiverse, it's only about 40% of neurodiverse students who enroll in college that actually graduate. The number of them who get jobs post-secondary that are actually in their degree is pretty low as well. And so that was a really important thing that we had. So especially because the program has a lot of seniors right now. So we're just trying to prepare them for the real world, because they're almost there.
What types of social events does Pathfinders host for students?
So those events that we have also are not just info sessions, but we have fun events where we have game nights, we have art nights, we have trips that to the gathering place, which is a huge park here in Tulsa. Students at TU actually get in free to the Philbrook Museum, which is an art museum. So that's on our list of things to do. We just come together every Friday, and it's an opportunity for everybody to get to see each other if they haven't seen each other throughout the week. And really, they've kind of created a community together that not only meets at the Friday events, but now we have a student who is in charge of a D&D club. So they go and play that game on Friday nights. Sometimes they go and hang out and go to the movies, or they go to dinner, or they have coffee together throughout the week. So it's just a smaller version of a social event that is a little bit more comfortable for some of our neurodiverse students to come and make friends. And we do have probably about 40 in the program, I think, at this point. And our average for Friday night events is about 10 to 12 students that come each Friday. But we also have a community through Discord. We have a server on there, and that's where a lot of our students have and they connect with each other that way. I know we're in an age, especially after the pandemic, we kind of went online, and that became a comfort place for a lot of our students. And so even if they don't come to the Friday events, they stay connected through that Discord server.
What types of tutoring and academic supports does TU offer its students?
So that's kind of the social side of things. For the academic side, the University of Tulsa offers free tutoring services for almost every subject. I believe there's a math lab, physics lab, chemistry lab, writing lab. So there are a bunch of different opportunities for our students to get tutoring services. But something specific to the Pathfinders program is I'm actually the only person over the program. There's not another staff member who works with them. So I'm their resource. And so I utilize the skills from whenever I was teaching and use them and put them into weekly meetings with different students in Pathfinders. I think right now I meet with about 10 per week, and I block out an hour each week for each of them, and we work on their executive functioning skills. So if they're struggling with study skills or social skills or time management or independent living or whatever the case may be, that's what we focus on. I start the semester out meeting with each of them and having them write down short-term goals and long-term goals. Their short-term goals can be, maybe they have a goal each week, or they have a goal for the month or the semester. And then long-term can be the school year or beyond. And so each week we check in and see how they're doing in those, towards those goals. Sometimes I have them come in, and if they're having trouble just studying and focusing, I just have them study while they're here, and I just do regular check-ins while they're here or give them guidance on how to stay focused. I've gone through with a lot of them, we write out their schedule at the beginning of the year to work on their time management. I have a template that is Saturday or Sunday through Saturday, and the time starts at like 7 in the morning and goes till about 10 at night, and we block out when their classes are, whenever they have time to study. If they're a commuter, we mark out driving time. We put in when they're going to shower, when they're going to take their meds, when they're going to go eat, when they're going to study for science, when they're going to study for social studies, when they're going to work on their math homework, and we map it out as best as we can. And that's for a lot of them. Some of them don't want such a rigid schedule because there is that hyperfixation on it. If I don't get into the shower at 2 p.m., I can't take a shower because I haven't done my schedule right, or whatever the case may be. So I just tailor it to the individual student and their needs. But that is one of the things that I offer to our students to help them be successful. And I feel like those who meet with me weekly do the best academically because they have that accountability system, and they also have access to more resources. If they're meeting with me weekly, I know what's going on in their lives, and I can kind of guide them to what they need as it comes up, instead of having to rely on the flag system and only get those if the faculty puts them in. I can know right away, like, this is what's going on. I missed this assignment, or I am struggling with this writing assignment, or I'm struggling going to class, whatever the case may be. And then I can work on those specific skills with them.
To wrap things up, can you think of any examples of Pathfinders who have really flourished during their time at TU?
So your question immediately reminds me of one of our students who has really stepped into more of a leadership role in the Pathfinders program. They've become what we call a Pathfinders ambassador, and so they kind of work as my wingman. They introduce themselves to everybody that comes into Pathfinders, and they really start building connections right then and there. This student also is a peer mentor on campus, which is another thing I forgot to mention that we offer. So peer mentors are assigned to the freshman class when they come in, and that is basically your person to go to for whatever you need on campus. And so this Pathfinder is a peer mentor, and does a lot with the peer mentors that kind of overlaps with Pathfinders. So whenever they have orientation, this student comes up with alternative activities that are a little more digestible for our neurodiverse students, instead of being in an arena full of students where it's loud and it's chaotic. And I mean, it's exciting, but that's not for everybody. And so this Pathfinder has stepped into a role where they create their own idea of what the activity should be, and then those who feel more comfortable doing a smaller activity are able to go with this student. This student is also a high achiever and is about to graduate and go to grad school, which is a huge success, I believe. And they're just, they have so many skills, and they're someone that I meet with weekly, and I feel like they're just constantly wanting to grow and do better. And that's something that is really admirable about them. And they are also interested in helping others have that same success.
A big thanks to Holden Trainer and to the Pathfinders Program at the University of Tulsa. For more information on the Pathfinders, please visit the link below. And remember to subscribe for more episodes of Inclusive Academia.